What's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? This is an episode of Zam Sports. I'm your host, Zam, here to talk about my Raiders because we got a lot of things cooking over there in Las Vegas. You hear me? I am not playing no games. We're going to get right into this, right? Because a lot of things have been said as far as dealing with the Max Crosby trade being reversed, sent back to my Raiders. And I'm noticing a lot of different opinions. I'm seeing a lot of different reactions. A lot of people have mixed emotions about it amongst Raider Nation. Some were excited that we were able to get a 14th overall draft pick, you know what I'm saying, and also a future draft pick in 2027 when the trade was actually made. But now with the trade actually being reversed, some are feeling as if, okay, well, now we're losing some money in the cap space because we still have to hold on to Max Crosby. But let me tell you something here, y'all, is that we have plenty of money in this cap space for the Las Vegas Raiders. And as you guys see here, man, right, Max Crosby is letting it be known, right? He says that by training camp, I'll be 200% ready. And this world will get the best version of 98 they've ever seen. And this is a report that he told Gerald McCoy on Good Morning Football. So as a Raider fan, I'm excited because with the additions that we have on defense and us able to actually retain Max Crosby, our defense definitely, as far as what's stacked right now, is looking like it's a top 5 defense. And I'm not making this up, right? I'm not making this up at all whatsoever because we just look solid. And if you really just kind of get into it, let me just pull this up, right? Because I actually have this saved. As far as the potential lineup of my Las Vegas Raiders going into next season on the defensive end, which is not really being talked about. I know that we have Fernando Mendoza, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of additions on the offensive end as far as what we've done in the offseason, especially dealing with, you know what I'm saying, especially dealing with the free agency. But if you look at it right here, this is the potential, like it says, Raiders' new look defense. Because of the fact that we were able to retain Max Crosby, we still have him, right? You have Butler at the nose tackle, right? We still have Lalu, who's developing into a beast, right? And this is what I'm excited about the most is the additions of Walker and Dean. And if you guys don't know, these guys have history as far as with those Georgia Bulldogs, you understand? And those mighty teams, you know what I'm saying, in the SEC. And to bring them back together, which we've seen what they can do when they're on the field together, if you paid attention to the Georgia Bulldogs, with these two added along with Max Crosby at the end, right, keeping him at the left end, defensive end, we have a lot of firepower when it comes to being able to attack the quarterback, also plug in the holes, fill in the gaps when it comes to the run game, the run-stop game. And Malcolm Kuntz, we were able to also retain as well. All right. Now, my concern was as far as what I was talking about earlier, which I feel we should still look into maybe drafting another solid defensive back that we can develop in the draft. But, you know, we still have Porter, right? That big guy, right? 6'4". All right. And then we still have Stokes. Now, that was, for me, was the big acquisition, right, was Stokes. So with Stokes, it definitely does free up Porter to be able to get a lot more physical, not really have to be focused and dependent upon as far as the number 1 cornerback position, which is what we seen last year, and also being able to get Tyron Johnson. Okay, so hey man, as far as his defense is concerned, and we know Jeremy Chin is always looking for the hits, so my defense is looking very, very solid. And I'm very excited as far as what my Raiders are about to do going into this year. And this is why Max Crosby is excited, right? Best believe he's excited to be a Raider again because he was made to be a Raider. He wants to finish his career as a Raider. Now, there are a lot of trade talks that are still out there in the open as far as dealing with Max Crosby. I know a lot of people are saying that the Cowboys, you know, are not going to look into this, but you never know. Okay, but you got the likes of the Cowboys. You got the likes of even the Chicago Bears, also the Green Bay Packers. There's a few teams out there that are still interested in Max Crosby, that would be interesting in actually putting some trade proposals together to see if they can land him in. But again, Spytech has already put it out there that we're not trading Max Crosby unless we're getting some type of a Khalil Mack type deal where draft picks are going to be included. Because let's be honest, guys, right? Max Crosby over the last 5 years has led the league, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at it here, he's led the league in most tackles for loss since 2019. Myles Garrett right under him, and then TJ Watt. So, I mean, what are we talking about? Now, I do see Trey Henderson, you know what I'm saying, as we see that Baltimore actually picked him up. A lot of people are trying to wonder, you know, well, okay, he didn't pass his physical, but was that really the equation? Because they did turn around and get Trey Henderson. So it makes sense. They were able to get him for more cheap. They're trying to say that his upside is actually better than Max Crosby, but let's be real. Max Crosby's always having to deal with double teams and sometimes triple teams when it comes to that line, right? Even having to, you know, he'll get past, you know what I'm saying, the defense, the offensive lineman, and then will end up being chipped by a running back. So offenses are always paying attention to Max Crosby. So with the additions of Dean and Walker, Kobe Dean and Quay Walker, this is going to open up a lot for Max Crosby. And I see him coming into the season. If he's saying that he's going to be 200% by training camp, I mean, we're talking about a likes of a 15 sack type season, which is solid in what I feel is what we need for our Raiders, because we're going to be all over the place, man. There's going to be hitters all over the place. What my Raiders have done, you know what I'm saying, this entire offseason is beautiful. You understand? And shout out, you know what I'm saying, to the chat, man. Shout out to Gates of Zion, man. You understand? GOZ, until we're free. It's good to see you up on here, brother. You know what I'm saying? Hey, chiming in to Zam Sports. Also, shout out to my brother Joshua the Levite. He says, and congrats. That's real. And congrats. So I actually just found out some news literally about, I want to say about 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, right before this live. But yeah, my wife is expecting. So we will be bringing in our our eighth to the equation. You understand? But hey, that's how life goes. But I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the support. Shout out to the chat, you know what I'm saying, and everybody else that will be chiming in later. Again, this is Zam Sports, and you're going to get the news here first, especially when it comes to my Las Vegas Raiders, because best believe it's Raider Nation in here. You understand? Now, I want to hear what Matt Fontana had to say on his show as far as his take on the Ravens pulling back on the trade for Max Crosby, right? So let's listen to this.
Max Crosby just had surgery on his knee. He had a meniscus injury that he played most of the year with that he refused to get surgery on. He got surgery. He got off crutches last week. Every team would fail him for a physical. The Ravens knew that. They still traded for him. And when Trey Hendrickson's deal came down from what he thought he was going to get, whoops, we don't like it. Send it back. And it really just screws the Raiders over because they signed people thinking the money was off the books. Max Crosby.
See, but that's the thing that I disagree with. I don't think it screws us, right? But shout out to Matt Fontana 83. Make sure you know, guys, subscribe, you know what I'm saying, and follow him, you know, on X. But that's exactly what I feel has happened, because it makes absolutely no sense for you to cancel that trade unless you see the likes of a Trey Henderson and how his value went down, and now he's available on the market. So it made sense for the Baltimore Ravens to just say, oh, you know, that he's not healthy. But like, I do agree with Matt Fontana on the fact that they already knew that. And a lot of teams knew that, which is why a lot of teams are still in the hunt for Max Crosby, right? They're willing to make a trade and have him rehab and have him get healed up and fully healthy and ready to go for next season. So, but with that Trey Hendrickson deal coming into play, it made sense. But what the Baltimore Ravens are doing is acting as if, you know, it's pinpointed strictly on the health of Max Crosby when that's not the case. And so with Matt Fontana saying that it screws us, well, it really doesn't, because we have a lot of money left in cap space. It doesn't screw us when we literally make the biggest splash, you know what I'm saying, on free agent day. I mean, we're still the talk of free agency when it comes down to it. Our team has definitely, as far as a grade wise, I would literally say an A+, because what I see that's being built for Clint Kubiak and also for Fernando Mendoza coming in as a rookie quarterback, I see a developed team that's looking to win now. And so I was actually surprised. And as I start to think about it, I'm like, man, we get to keep Max Crosby and we still have a lot of picks just within this draft, because we have a lot of high picks within the first 4 rounds. So with us being able to keep Max Crosby, man, right, we still get that presence to where he's able to tackle the offense, you know what I'm saying, positions and get them for losses, right? Quarterback pressures. And this is what he's good at. And he's always had a establishment and a connection to the Raiders. And he wants to win here. Now, this was on, shout out to Max Crosby in the Rush podcast. This was around March 12th, and he spoke on his relationship with Davante Adams. There were some things that he said that I felt that were interesting. Let's check this out.
Tay helped me a lot, bro, for sure. When he came in the building, it was the same thing. I was like, I'm trying to get on that level. You're going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, what the fuck do I got to do? He's like, listen, bro, you're doing everything the right way. I promise the shit's going to come. Like, I know you're fucking irritated because our first year together, like, I had a big, like, probably my best year. I was like a couple votes away from making All-Pro, and I didn't make it. I was fucking pissed, bro. I was so fucking mad. He's like, bro, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. He's real about that. A lot of people, you know, have their opinions, and obviously, you know, people get mad, especially at Raider Nation. Like, they're mad about Tay leaving, and they're mad for sure. But like, people don't realize how good of a dude he is, and he's a really good teammate. So Tay helped me a lot,
and that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You understand? And shout out to Davante Adams. We definitely do miss him, right? But we understand it's a business. And Davante was not satisfied as far as the production that was coming out of the Raiders organization at that time. And this is why I say that we have something cooking. This is a whole new change. When you're able to get the #1 overall draft pick, it literally changes the entire organization. And this is exactly what we're seeing. And Max Crosby sees this, which is why he's happy. Best believe he's happy, and he's ready to be 200% and give it his all for the Las Vegas Raiders going into this year. Because now we have put a winning team and a winning structure in our organization with the moves that were made. And so, again, right, we get this dog right back, man, right? Along with Nakobe Dean, along with, you know what I'm saying, with Quay Walker and those boys. Jeremy Chin still back there, you know what I'm saying, in the safety position. Clint Kubiak, I mean, we got an excellent coaching staff. So we're going to see a lot of this, right? This same type of grit. Because with the Baltimore Ravens doing that is basically them saying that they feel that Trey Hendrickson is better than Max Crosby. So this is definitely going to put a chip on Max Crosby's shoulder, which is something that he needs, in my opinion, going into this year. I mean, why not? Go out there and show that you are the best defensive pass rusher in the game, which I truly believe he is, right? But shout out to Max Crosby, because, again, what people are saying is that, you know, that it's bad. But, again, guys, I've been talking about this for quite some time. I'm going to go right back to it. Malachi Fields, I'm going to keep saying it. Malachi Fields is somebody that's starting to make a lot of noise. And you heard it here first on Zam Sports. And with the explosive offense that we have together, and also us being able to get Tyler Linderbaum, you understand, the top offensive lineman in the game, us being able to literally, you know what I'm saying, says poor Raider fans. Hey, we gonna ride and die for my squad. You understand? Raider Nation, hard work, dedication. Don't get it twisted. We not going. Hey, you can call us delusional. Hey, but we coming and we got something cooking. Just wait. And now they popping up, right? They popping. See y'all here. Hey, they coming in now, y'all. They coming in. Y'all repping y'all squad, man. Rep your squad, man. Put it in the chat. Rep your squad and put it in the chat here at Zam Sports, man. Because I'm definitely repping mine. You understand? But be on the lookout for Malachi Fields, man. Again, 6'4". I talked about this, you know what I'm saying, on previous episodes dealing with my Raiders. With us having a very high second-round draft pick, we have a lot of room. I'm looking at the Raiders to fill that wide receiver position. I know we got Naylor, all right, and we're still looking to develop Trey Tucker. We're still looking to develop Jack Besh. But we need another big-time receiver, right, along with Dante Thornton that we're still developing. And so if we can get a guy like Malachi Fields who has extreme body technique as far as how he's able to torque his body and make crazy catches, right, from throws that are not accurate, to be honest. And with the accurate quarterback like Fernando Mendoza, I can see somebody like a Malachi Fields being a great addition for my Raiders offense in that Clint Kubiak system. Now, if you look in previous mock drafts, now I know things have changed, but if you look at the previous mock draft, okay, once everything was established, Malachi Fields is listed at 31. They have him going to the Patriots. Now, earlier drafts had him literally a late second-round draft pick, but with what he presented in the Senior Bowl and also the things that he did, I understand that he ran a 4.5, you know what I'm saying? He did run a slow 40. But it's really not about the 40 to keep it 100 when it comes to the receiver position. It's about separation. Are you able to, you know what I'm saying, get separation on that jam on the line? So Malachi Fields is definitely starting to come up in the draft boards. And so for me as a Raider fan, I'm hoping that he stays low. I don't really want him going up because I feel a lot of teams are sleeping on him. Because I see the likes of a Dez Bryant. All right. A lot of grit. I mean, look at this catch, man. Look at the body technique. You understand? The difficulty, the degree of difficulty when it comes to these catches, and then the aggression. A lot of Dez Bryant. And again, he's going to be exciting. Whatever team decides to snag Malachi Fields, that's going to be a sleeper, and that's going to be a win. Because this guy is definitely slept on. The ability to be able to twist his body in the air to create separation when he's really not even open and still be able to make the catch with his hands, which he's a very aggressive catcher with his hands, by the way. Right? This guy doesn't really do a lot of catching to the chest. No, he's putting his hands out there. And so I'm excited, man. Right, with Fernando Mendoza coming at the first overall pick, man, we got a lot of picks. I mean, just look at it. We're definitely getting Mendoza with that number 1 overall draft pick. But again, guys, we got a high second-round draft pick with the 36th pick. And this is where I can see Malachi Fields still being available. Maybe even the Raiders may be moving up a little bit. And maybe snagging Malachi Fields because I believe that he's a first-round worthy talent. I know we're hearing a lot about Makai Lemon, right? We're hearing a lot about these other guys, okay? But I want a tall, aggressive, physical with his hands, catching type of receiver. This is the type of receiver that we need for Raider Nation. We already have a speedster in Trey Tucker. Right, we already have a solid, you know what I'm saying, number 3 slot receiver and who we just got with Naylor. Okay, and we still have Dante Thornton. So if we're able to, excuse me, I lost my voice, y'all. I just came back from vacation, you know what I'm saying, in California. You feel me, with the family, been turned, you know what I'm saying, for a whole week. But if we're able to get a very, very good receiver like Malachi Fields, even with this 36th pick, Again, the next 2 rounds, guys, are also high picks, which is where we can fill in certain holes like the cornerback position. Maybe get in another young offensive lineman. All right. Look into some more defensive picks as far as in the linebacker position that can come off, the bench. Right. Literally stack our team. And this is exactly what I see because we have a pick in every single round. So even the fact that we lost that trade, we still have Max Crosby and we have all these picks. So I'm very excited for my Raiders going into this season. I want to hear, what else we're talking about.
When you talk about Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean, 2 guys that are, I think, forces in this National Football League. Nakobe Dean's a Super Bowl champion. So we've seen that he can be a leader and lead a defense. And the same thing with Quay with his time over in Green Bay. Both these guys are downhill attacking players. I mean, Nakobe Dean, one of the great young blitzers from the linebacking position, but both of these guys are tremendous playmakers, which is something I think the Raiders need. Guys who know how to take the ball.
That's what I've been saying. And I talked about this, on my last episode when, if you can go check that on the channel, and how the Raiders have won the free agency and just destroyed the free agency because of the likes, of getting Nakobe Dean, and Quay Walker. These guys have history, all right? And this is being overlooked. Best believe a lot of teams, and GMs over the league, throughout the league, are scared of what the Raiders are doing right now because we're cooking up a recipe for a championship, I believe, within the next few years. Maybe not going into this season, but I definitely see us making the playoffs, even in that stacked AFC West, going into the season because of our defense. So, again, they're able to bring back that strong bond, right? So this is posted by the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker bringing winning ways and strong bond to the silver and black because both of these guys are able to get to the ball. They're able to get to the offensive player, the running back, receiver, quarterback. It doesn't matter. You need speed out of the linebacker position to be able to win football games, right, in the NFL. So I want to hear, what he had to say. Let's hear what these guys had to say about the situation.
Honestly, at the end of the season, we just talked about the possibility of him playing together and was headed. 5 minutes later, he said the same thing, and we ended up here. So big things to spot for that, for sure.
And shout out to John Spytek because he is cooking this thing together, man. It's Spytek that's the one that's making these moves, guys. And he's definitely, getting insight from the likes of Tom Brady, the likes of, our new coach, Clint Kubiak, along with the coaching staff. But it seems like every single move that we have made so far for my Raiders has been the correct and right move. And to bring these 2 dogs back together for my squad, my Raiders, hey, I'm excited. Even Tyler Linderbaum's excited. Let's hear what he had to say.
Obviously, would love, Max to be here and play with him. And I've gone against him. He's not fun to go against. How we have to scout him and his just ability to lead a team is pretty special. So.
And you see what Tyler Linderbaum says, right? Right. It's nothing but excitement as far as for my Raiders right now. And, hey, it's even more excitement because of the fact that Max Crosby's coming back. You understand? So while everybody is thinking that, some Raider fans are upset and things of that nature, hey, as far as a team, which is more important as far as team camaraderie, they're excited with us being able to retain Max Crosby. And I'm excited because I know going into this year, hey, we have the potential, guys. We have the potential. I really feel like we have the potential to finish the year out 12-6. I mean, it can happen. Let's look at all of the new additions, man. Tyler Linderbaum, Naylor, right? Dean and Quay Walker, right? I want to hear what they got to say.
For Quiddy, what would excite you most about potentially lining up opposite from Max Crosby?
Man, it's gonna be crazy, man. You know, just seeing him pursue and just his relentless pursuit throughout the down. Just being able to play with him and get after. I played with Jonah in Indy for a little bit, and just playing with him, just playing with some ballers. It'll be great.
For Quiddy, what would excite you most about?
And you guys are excited, man. And they're excited about Max Crosby. All right. So shout out to Mitchell Rentz. You definitely know, you know what I'm saying? I got to hear what he's got to say. Again, I'm been saying Malachi Fields for quite some time, but let's see what Mitchell Rentz has to say, because he definitely understands too that we need another addition at the wide receiver to make this thing fully complete.
Raiders draft news coming at you here from Mitchell Rentz, host of the Raiders Report, and the Silver and Black are holding a top 30 visit for Washington wide receiver Denzel Boston. Wherever you're watching this video, hit that subscribe button or give me a follow for more Raiders updates. If you don't know who Denzel Boston is, he's a receiver that if the Silver and Black were going to draft him, you're either going to trade back up in a round 1 or you're hoping that he falls to you at pick number 36. When I was at the NFL Combine, there were some rumors about him potentially falling out of round 1, more because some other wide receivers like an Omar Cooper Jr. ended up stepping up. But 6'4", 212-pounder, he's a physical guy, 20 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons for the Huskies, wore that C on his chest, so that matters to John Spytek and to Clint Kubiak. But the Raiders have often talked about trying to find an X receiver. And if the Raiders don't like some of the free agent options out there, watch out for Denzel Boston to be an option at pick number 36 in the
And that definitely can happen, right? That definitely can happen, and I see it happening, right? You never know. But what I do know is that they're looking for another receiver. I have my eyes on Malachi Fields. Mitchell Rentz, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely got a lot more inside, you know what I'm saying, information dealing with the Raiders than I do. He's saying Denzel Boston, who's another big-time receiver as well. But we'll see what's going to happen, right? Either way, if we get another receiver, hey, this thing's about to be capped off, and we're definitely making the playoffs, right? It was also reported from Mitchell Rentz today, right, that we're interested in adding a second running back. As you guys have seen in the past few years, that the top offenses in the league has a 2 running back system. Even with the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl last year, a lot of that had to do with the fact that they had Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. So when one goes down, you have the next man that's ready to come up. So we're definitely going to be using a lot of Ashton Jeanty going into this year with the additions that we have added in the offensive line. So with a young quarterback that we're drafting at the number 1 overall pick with Mendoza, we're not going to bring him in and just command him and expect him to just throw 35 to 40 plus passes a game. No, we still have to develop him, which is why I also see us bringing in a likes of a veteran quarterback to be that veteran presence. Hopefully it's Derek Carr, you know, but this is definitely going to be a run heavy team first. So with Kalen Black, who definitely put on a huge performance, you know what I'm saying, with Indiana, the national champions, who already has chemistry with Fernando Mendoza, it seems like what my Raiders are looking to do is go out and get dogs that have chemistry with each other. And this is what we're looking like. So let's see what Mitchell Rentz had to say on this matter.
Little draft news coming at you after Selection Sunday. My name is Mitchell Rentz, and the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be meeting with Indiana running back Kalen Black on a top 30 visit, according to a source close to me. If you don't know who Kalen Black is, he was a running back this past season for the Indiana Hoosiers, and he's 5'9", I'd say about 210 pounds. Tough mother effer, running between the tackles, averaged 5.6 yards per carry this past season for Indiana. Had 10 rushing touchdowns. And one of my favorite stats about him, it's not even a stat. I think Curt Cignetti is one of the smartest, one of the best coaches on planet Earth. And this guy brought him, Kalen Black, from James Madison, brought him to Indiana, where they were ultimately able to win that big-time title. Clint Kubiak made it clear that we want another running back to be with Ashton Jeanty because it's a long season. I think Kalen Black, if you're able to get him in a little bit of like a round 5, round 6, round 7 scenario, would be a really, really good fit here for this Raiders team, for Ashton Jeanty, and ultimately for Clint Kubiak.
And that's a very good point. Shout out to Mitchell Rentz, because again, if you look at the draft picks, guys, right, that we have, all right, just within the top first 4 rounds, we have pretty high draft picks for those rounds. Right now, he mentioned we actually have 3 fourth round draft picks. So I can see the Raiders, if Kalen Black is actually available, maybe getting him with that 117th pick or that 134th pick. I don't really see him going to the 5th round due to the fact that this is not a running back heavy draft. So there are still teams that need solid, strong, right, running backs. And so I can see him moving up to the 4th round. And if I'm the Raiders, and if he's available at the 117th pick, even the 102nd pick, right, in the 4th round, if I'm the Raiders and he's available, I get this guy. I get this guy to team up with Ashton Genty because he also showed that he has ability to also catch in the backfield. So, again, this is the most exciting time, in my opinion, when it comes to football because teams are making all types of moves. And best believe, I feel like my Raiders have made the best moves so far this entire offseason, man. Right? So shout out to Mitchell Rentz, in that report. Hey, this has been another episode, of Zam Sports. I'm your host, Zam, Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe. And again, you guys, my prediction, is I got the Raiders, 12-6, and I got them winning the AFC West. I mean, what are we talking about? Yeah, I'm aiming high, right? Because that's what my team is doing as far as the moves that they're making. They're aiming high. And we trying to win now, baby. You understand? Raider Nation, hard work, dedication. Shout out to Sonny Bolt, man. Hey, we going to keep saying it. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys later, right? Drop your comments, in the comment section. Let me know how you feel. Give me your predictions on what you think that my Raiders are going to do, right? Also, give me your grades, from, an F to an A as far as what you mean. You said, 12-5, my bad. 12-5. Yeah, that's what I got. Got my numbers wrong. My bad. But I got them 12-5, right? Right. And shout out to my brother Cordero, Broncos fan in the building, right? He said, who coming in last place this year in the division? Well, I actually got the Chargers in last place. I got the Broncos coming right behind my Raiders in 2nd place. I know you got, Bo Nix coming off of an injury. I don't really think as far as what Kansas City has done, is enough, with Patrick Mahomes coming off injury to make a splash, to make a run. I don't really understand them getting Justin Fields. I also don't think that just the signing of Kenneth Walker is actually going to make a huge difference going into next season because let's just be honest, man, the Chiefs are exposed. Teams are evolving. So as teams evolve, playbook calling evolves, all that stuff evolves. And so, hey, man, I got my Raiders, He said 12-5 on Madden. That they hating. But wait until this season start. You heard it here first, 12-5, for my Las Vegas Raiders, the best team, ever created with the most beautiful colors. Don't get it twisted. So with that being said, y'all, appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. I'll catch you for another episode of Zam Sports. Until then, gone.